Alright. There's the transition. There it is. Oh my god, so professional stream. Actually remember to hit start recording this time, so I don't have to grab the VOD. It's amazing. It's session 29 of Land Pirates the Musical.
Yep. So, last time... God damn it. Last time we were supposed to get substantive things done.
Yeah. Well, we met people. So that was something.
You sold some shit. You asked me, hey, do you want to come do shit? Then she was like, sure, and then she immediately regretted it.
And left at the earliest convenience.
And then she got real wasted. And then you guys went to Rice. I forget how I pronounced it the first time, so it's gonna just forever be in flux. I don't feel like making a decision on it.
Because you'll forget the decision.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And there was the inn Edison was in, it was destroyed, and Edison was dead. And there was there was Lysandra and the Baron military people who everybody keeps getting confused with the Mage Guard because I had to make a big convoluted Game of Thrones-esque shit thing that nobody can keep track of.
As long as you can keep track of it. But you probably can't you?
Only sometimes. I don't actually write any of this down, it's all just sort of floating around in my head. So...
Great.
Yeah. So, if I get hit by a truck, this story is lost forever.
Yeah. Well, we have VODs, but you can't really decipher much from those, I don't think. But, moving on.
And, so, y'all were like, man, Lysandra's part of a crime scene. Maybe we should check this out. Except for Sawyer, who was like, man, Lysandra's part of a crime scene. Maybe we should threaten to kill the police.
I wasn't threatening to kill them until they pointed their bows at me.
They weren't pointing their bows at you until you were making magic hands and coming towards them.
No, they were pointing their bows at me. As I was yelling at people to get the fuck out of the way, and that's why I did magic hands.
You were yelling at the guards to get the fuck out of the way, and they told you no.
You definitely were yelling at the guards.
No, I was yelling at the guards, but that was after they started yelling at me. I was yelling at the crowd to get the fuck out of the way.
You were being a total fucking retard, and I'm not arguing about how much of a retard.
I'm not arguing about how much about being a retard. I am
you are.
Arguing about
you
how
are.
I was being a retard.
You're trying to make it seem not as bad as it was, and you're wrong.
I'm not saying it wasn't bad. It was bad.
Anyway, so he got shot out of the sky. Because that's what happens when you threaten to blow up the police. Who's honking a fucking horn?
Sorry.
That's Tony.
It's Crystal Todd.
Okay. Okay.
Bane of my fucking existence.
Wanna play D&D, Tony?
Jesus Christ.
Tony Cat's level 1 squeak dog toy. It's highly effective on everyone.
Sonic
So,
Burst.
Sonic Snap.
So then, Kyle was able to defuse the situation.
By clubbing me.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that part. And y'all found out that, well, after Kyle stole a bunch of shit that almost got Lysandra arrested because he removed evidence from a crime scene that would have exonerated them.
No problem.
I have a question about that, by the way.
What?
Because didn't Kyle say that he took the paperwork off of Edison's body?
Yes, he took...
Wouldn't Lysandra kind of be able to piece together the whole, paperwork was missing from our captain, and he stole paperwork from Edison, who was right there?
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, that's why I decided, that's why I was like, we need to leave, because I was like, I don't want them to understand, I don't want them to piece it together. So I wanted to look. Okay.
Yeah, almost certainly.
I feel like Lysandra was always smart enough to where she would have maybe pieced that together while we were talking to her, but oh well.
I forget, did
She was
Kyle...
also beat to hell and, like, there was some shit going on. She was a bit frazzled.
I helped
Kyle
her out
show
anyway.
us that paper that he stole
Yeah.
from
Because I remember
Yes.
I
both of them?
showed the copy on Edison's body to her,
Yeah.
and I didn't show her the captain's papers because I wanted to use that as an authoritative pass, but it didn't really have that.
Yeah.
I showed you guys both of them. I didn't show her that one though. I showed her the Edison one. That's just so that she would have a.
Right, and
It
then...
had a hint that he knew that they were coming. So.
Yeah, and then Lance gave her the, Lance was like, oh, Lysandra's standing with the mage guard. Well, here's our letter from Debbie, being like, hey, wanna come kill the mage guard? And you gave that to Lysandra.
I did.
So,
So underwear buddies.
yeah.
Panty buddies.
Ah, Christ. So, after we spent 3 hours doing that, you guys made it to the camp, and that's where we are now. You were...
Huge ass goatman.
Yep. You were given the option to, like, poke around and maybe go to the fucking dwarf place to meet the dwarves, or just be sent on your mission.
That's right. They wanted me to talk to the dwarves, didn't they? I forget what about though.
Because they wanted to basically help you, or to have you help recruit them into like the ranks or whatever, because they were kind of
Yeah,
like,
they're getting assistance from the dwarves because their numbers are not great right now, and most of their people are non-combat personnel. You can see from looking around the camp that most of the guards are dwarves in the same sort of turquoise stone armor. And their current envoy to the dwarves was, to quote the goat guy, eccentric. So,
Great. Is it who I think it is?
I don't know, is it who you think it is? There's only one way to find out. It's fucking Fuquan, dude.
Oh, I don't know what
It's
Fuquan
not.
hates.
It's not Fuquan.
I gave him some money and then I beat him in the tournament. He's still butthurt with me.
maybe because that second part there, beating him in the tournament. Not happy about that.
The Grizz is so bad at talking to people though.
Yeah, well, I talked to him, but dwarves and elves don't really get along that well, so.
I guess
I could disguise myself as a dwarf and talk to them.
You stoop down really low and make a little fake beard.
I guess
You can also, like, look around camp if you want to.
yeah, are we in like our own tent thing or is there just like a community?
You
tent?
guys haven't set up tents yet.
Oh, we have to set up our own tent.
You do.
Well, perhaps we should do that then. Find a nice spot, one next to a nice fire.
Do you even have a tent?
You guys
Maybe.
have tents.
Okay.
Even if you don't have tents, you have tents.
Did
I have
actually
a
write down-
hammer.
I
Is that a
actually
tent?
didn't.
I thought you
Sure.
had an axe. Like, did I miss
Yeah, both.
something?
I think he more meant like the tool.
Yeah,
hammer.
the tool.
Oh,
I just looked at
okay.
my
Oh, yeah,
inventory, the first thing was a hammer.
I found that tome on his body, that leather-bound tome.
You did.
I actually want to read that.
It's locked.
Is it locked? Can't like mundanely or magically?
I'd make a roll for that. Some kind of roll.
So I guess just search. Probably.
Yeah.
Alright. Well. Wow.
It's just mundanely locked. Hey, it's
I
like
guess
on a scale of like Skyrim, it's definitely a master lock.
Mm-hmm.
But you still think you could probably use a bobby pin to crack it open if you got lucky enough?
Yeah, I have thieves tools, so I'll use something from my thieves tools probably.
Your lockpicking has increased.
Yeah, you pick the lock.
I crack open the tomb.
The one time you didn't search for traps.
Well, I didn't expect traps
No.
to be on a.
It's not. It's
Okay.
not trapped.
A
It-
rock falls.
The celestial hand comes out of the eye and just drops a rock on my head.
It's just a tiny rock, but it still drops it. It appears to be a ledger of some sort. It looks very accounting-y, and there's like arrows and scribblings of funds being transferred between parties, and locations. It looks like a log of his underground transactions and who he's working with and that sort of shit. It looks like it has some sort of like it's coded. Like you can't tell immediately what anything means. For example, you know that despite the fact that all of you have worked with Edison in the past, your guys' names aren't in there.
Alright, well. Who did Edison have contacts with? Does anyone remember?
He had
you-
contact
you-
with Katarina.
Yes.
I'll just hold on to this. Maybe she'll want to do something with this. Edison's ledger. Because this doesn't really have much use to me right now.
I like how I've made a character that's just, this sure doesn't have much use to me. Maybe I'll just be able to sell it to her later. The
I mean, it's
ultra
not- yeah.
effects.
Doesn't have much, I guess, if... I mean, our business with Edison was kind of over, so...
Well, he's dead.
Well, no, I'm just saying that even before he died.
No, we should
Before
go
he-
talk to him.
Before he died, we didn't really have anything to do with him, so...
Yeah.
Doesn't really have much value to me. Unless
Well,
you guys want
What did
want
it say? Let me
the
see.
ledger?
No, I mean, there's something about Edison, of why we stopped with him. He was like, he didn't have anything for us, or he went into hiding. That's why we stopped, or whatever.
Yeah. Also, we kind of went to that crossroads of like, pick your poison on what we want to do, and we decided to. We went down into Alistair's territory for a while, so.
Yeah. So we should set up camp within the camp and camp when we like to camp. You know, dog, I heard
Okay,
you like to
so
camp.
Do you want to talk to the dwarves?
Well, set up camp first. You know?
Grizz
Let's
gotta
postpone
die,
this.
you know?
he's like, I haven't seen another dwarf in 10 years. I'm not sure they'll recognize me since my beard's been burnt off.
Yeah, I'll
It
be-
still hasn't grown. I mean, it's been like a few weeks, so you got some stuff there, but it's not half its former glory.
It's really depressing, dude.
But yeah, there's a bunch of tents set up that you can tell is sort of like, I don't know, if it was a barracks, you could call it a barracks, but they're tents, so you can't really call it that. You do notice that there is a very fancy tent in the Urami Academy colors.
We gotta go right next to that one.
Sticks out like a sore thumb.
I know who's in that. We have to go right next to it. I'm gonna set up my tent right next to that one if I can.
Yup, you can.
I'm gonna do it as noisily as possible, just grunting and humming. The tent like picks up slowly and starts sidling to the side.
Make a spot check while you're opening up this tent.
I'm not gonna look at my sheet. I'll just roll it off at this thing. Skills. Spot check. That one. Did it go?
So as you're, everybody else, unless they're off doing something else, you don't need to spot to see this, because you're the only just standing around. From the adjacent fancy tent, you sort of see head sticking half out of the tent, looking in your direction. It's Mia. She looks very unhappy. And she just sort of moved. Yeah.
So I noticed it, then I'm like, oh! Hello there!
She had already gone back into the tent by the time you said it.
Mia! It's me, Grizz!
When you're at a party and you see someone you didn't expect to see there, and you're like, "Oh God!" And you try to not make eye contact, but you do for a brief second, and they start walking over, and you feel that dread setting in. That's
Yeah.
what Mia feels right now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It went really south with her really quick.
Except instead of just drunk, she's hungover, so it's even worse.
She's locking her tent
Well,
door.
she's hungover and she's also without sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Grizz walked over and made a bunch of noise.
Yep. Yep.
Alright. So it's late in the day, right? It's like evening, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, later in the evening.
Alright.
Activity in the camp is sort of dying down a bit. You see most of the people are hanging around near their tents.
Well, how about we should go around, introduce ourselves to our fellow. Are these all basically like members of the Shining Blade now, since they're in the base camp?
They're not all wearing Shining Blade clothes, but you can gather that the ones that aren't dwarves are. You do see a few, excuse me. Sorry, I have chugged some energy drinks because I'm very tired today, so.
Is gonna like
This-
face plant under your desk anytime soon?
Hopefully not, but it's possible.
I mean, do you really want to go around and say hi to everybody?
I
There's
mean-
people here.
Probably not. But
You still gotta talk to those dwarves.
yeah,
Grizz.
I guess I should.
There are a few people who are still working on stuff. You see,
Sawyer.
you see that Aurelia, Calder, and Elizabeth are sort of in like a planning area, and they've got maps and logs and shit, like book logs, not like tree logs. On a table, and they're like tracking shit and stuff. You see there's sort of like a crafting area. There are some people working around there. There does appear to be sort of like a military training area, but nobody is using it right now.
Was it like some dummies set up or something like that?
Yeah, there's like some dummies. There's targets. There's like sparring rings and shit.
I'll probably go talk to Aurelia since she's the one that gave me the letter about this. She's the one that is basically the reason why we're here. So I guess we can go talk to them.
You spoke with her already.
Me?
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah.
Oh.
She explained to you that that they're low were on personnel and that they had thought, and that they're trying to work with the dwarves and shit to
Right.
get stuff together, and that she knows one place where you guys will be able to strike, and that she can give you the information when you talk to her.
So about those dwarves, Grizz.
Is our Goldrin and Sabine with us right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna. Nah, they're. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, you did. I'm gonna say that you did ask them, and they're hanging out with you as you're wandering around the camp.
All right. Could you point me in the direction of these dwarves?
Do you ask that to Sabina or Goldrin?
Goldrin.
Okay, so even though you ask Goldrin, Sabina starts to try and answer, but Goldrin is just like, they are in the giant fort over yonder. And he points, if you bring you up to the map. If you look just like north of you, there's Stormhold. That's where they are.
Oh.
They got their own setup there.
You're specifically, like, the base camp is specifically, sort of right outside Stormhold. And it's, you can tell that it's not like Stone Keep kind of stuff, but it's sort of like your fucking Skyrim Dragon's End Keep sort of thing, where it's heavily fortified and has a city around it and shit, but it's made of wood and not super advanced stuff.
I guess we should, well, I'm gonna ask Sabine, I'm like, so, how long have you guys been trying to work with these dwarves for this whole operation?
Well, the dwarves were pretty sympathetic to us trying to help out. There's not a very strong system of government here, so the White Mantle have been able to pretty much do whatever, and there hasn't really been law enforcement to clear them out of the countryside. It's not that they're not on our side, it's just the leader of the dwarves is a little temperamental, and
Is he the one that reigns over Stormhold, or is there a different ruling class that...
yes, he's so just make a knowledge local check.
Okay, let's be that. Fuck.
Okay. So you know that in Kirengard, Torgard, and I think the last one was Nyengard, I don't remember. That's what it is now. Until it changes, like Reese and Rice.
Right.
They don't really have a centralized form of government. They essentially have very localized governments.
So like city-states, kind of.
Yeah. Where each town sort of has its own government and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sort of a dominant clan who rules over the region. And Stormhold is the capital of the region based off of that, but people are sort of left to do their own thing.
What's the name of the clan that rules over this region?
The Hammerstürmer clan.
Von Hammerstürmer.
How do they feel? I know that...
Wait a minute. Hold on. Continue, sorry. I was laughing to myself.
So I know that dwarves and elves typically not really on good terms usually, but how do they feel about Elvenkind? And I point over to like Stormhold.
They're pretty, the Hammerstürmer clan is less accepting of elves than some of the other clans around here. I know that the ones in Nyengard and Torgard, they're open to letting members of other races join their governing bodies, but elves are still allowed in Stormhold. They live there. They're open for trade and stuff. It's just they're not really accepted into the governing class. That's mostly dwarves. It's not like they're gonna shoot you on sight like the White Mantle would or anything.
Right. Is there some sort of internal conflict going on over there that you might think might be preventing them from working with you, or are they just sort of slow to draw?
They're Thane Roderick is very comfortable in sitting around and letting things work themselves out. He hasn't really, Stormhold hasn't really been affected by the White Mantle threat, and what small excursions they've made into some of the surrounding territory, his guards have been able to fend off. I think he mostly likes us because we take care of the refugees that are sort of flooding into the borders, so he doesn't have to deal with them. And we have a lot of craftsmen, and we're trying to help stimulate trade.
So he and his people are complacent, basically.
Yes, he mostly likes throwing hammers at things.
Okay. Well, I look at the rest of the group, I'm like, so should we go to Stormhold and try to maybe lend a hand to these dwarves and see if they'll be willing to help out Shining Blade, or... I mean, we do have our own dwarven ambassador, and I kind of pat Grizz on the shoulder.
Oh,
I mean, I'll come with you, because I...
is it, perhaps we should head out in the morning.
Yeah, it is kind of late in the day, yes. It's true.
And we just set up all these tents.
And you said we automatically have tents even if we didn't write them down?
Yeah,
Alright, well, I guess I'll just have my own tent
you
already.
can all have your own tent,
Tent.
unless you want to sleep with each other.
I'm gonna find a tree to hang out in if it's not too cold.
There are 0 trees.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't this kind of like a plain? Like
Yeah.
a savanna kind of thing?
Yeah, you're in a plain type area. Stormhold, there's sort of a lone hill that it's on top of. But the closest like trees are quite a ways to the south. This is mostly like farmland.
What's the deal with that, Did I learn the name of the goat man? Did they tell us his name?
I don't think they did, no.
I'll say, what's the deal with that large goat fellow? What's his,
Commander Calder?
yeah.
He has a similar story to a lot of us. I guess their people are called Ibixin, and they're native to one of the other continents, Ajax, I think its name is. He and some of his clan came over here, I don't remember exactly when, but obviously they stand out quite a bit, and they ended up being wiped out by the White Mantle.
Say. Jesus Christ. Okay, that just scared the crap. Continue, sorry. A bug like flew right directly into my forehead.
Yes, the White Mantle has caused many of us many grief. We all share stories of love and loss at their hands. Not loving them, but them killing people we loved.
I can sympathize with that. We've definitely been the target of their ire before.
Goldrin's clan was also wiped out by them, and
He's half orc, right, Goldrin?
yes. And I know that Elizabeth was hunted down by them because of her heritage. So
Elizabeth? Oh, she's the,
Pink hair.
she's the pink-haired lady.
yes. What is her lineage? Did we learn that, or
You did not.
I asked that? What is her
Sindrik.
lineage?
She has somewhere along the line Fey blood in her
Right.
in her lineage. The only way it really shows through is through her hair. She certainly doesn't act like they do, and she's like 5'7", so you know she's also
that's
pretty
a tall. That's a tall Fae.
I think she's just Fey blood, not really like
Yeah,
full,
it's similar to how Lysandra has dragon blood, but
or like how I have. I say this out of character.
yeah, obviously.
No, tieflings are devil blood, aren't they? Not
I
demon.
thought it was demon.
I don't know. Whatever.
I just know it's fiend, which I don't
Yeah,
think...
I think it's fiend, which I think fiends are devils.
I mean, it
but-
would make more sense since demons are.
I
Just
mean, I
sort
wrote
of
my
like,
backstory as my lineage goes back to Mephistopheles, and he's a devil, so
That works.
you know. All right. Well, anyway, enough of me talking. I guess I'll just kind of. I mean, we can go talk to the goatman if you guys want, or we can just hit the sack. I don't care.
Goatman's with Aurelia and them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's chilling there. I figured we'd formally introduce ourselves to him at least, since he's kind of the commander of this operation. He probably wants to know what we're doing.
Aurelia is the head person. He's
Oh,
sort of like
okay.
the second in command.
Okay, I thought it was the other way around.
Nope.
Well, then I guess we don't really need to inform him of anything. Aurelia's probably already filled him in.
Or just, if we do, just do it in the morning, I guess. Let's just...
He's a pretty interesting
Betty,
character.
bye.
Yeah, all you know about him is that he's a goat person from another place, and he's
pretty cool.
All you need to do to be interesting is be a goat.
Yeah, he's pretty. I like him already, just because he's a goat man.
Olimar and Goatman.